Right, Miss Aurora is back, and today we are getting into part two of this is why your money is blocked. Now, in the first video, in part one, we went down a long list of money blocks, of thought processes, things that are keeping you separated from your money, things that are keeping you separated from your success. So if you have not watched part one, please stop this video right now and watch part one because it's vital to what's going on here in part two. Right now, we're going to take a deeper dive into these particular blocks that you may be experiencing. And Shiny Peggy is going to lead us through this deeper dive. So, are you ready? All right. You already know that I am Miss Aurorah Dey, and this is the Secured Entrepreneur Movement. All right. Again, we have Shiny Peggy, the premier facilitator of healing. She is my life coach. Bring it on, Shiny Peggy. Bring it on.
Oh, hey, everyone. Welcome back. I'm very excited to be back for part two. And I am a facilitator of healing, a facilitator of energy shifts, as well as a facilitator for mindset shifts. And yes, today we're going to go deeper into what may be blocking you from creating more money. So, these are some blocks that are very common to pretty much anyone that you will meet. What you'll find is whenever you are going for a new goal, resistance, or what's another word for resistance? Everyone understands resistance.
I'm going with procrastination here.
The procrastination, the fear, there'll be something that rises up inside of you that is resisting against this new goal because it is new and unfamiliar. So one of the things that you may experience is focusing on more information and working harder. This is a block because if you're the kind of person who is always looking for the next coach, the next course, more books. We're here on YouTube, more YouTube videos, please. If you're always collecting information, yet there's no real progress, what can be happening is you have this block. And the underlying saboteur, the way that you are sabotaging yourself is with the beliefs around, I'm not enough. So what we talked about yesterday was when you strike out on your own and create your own business, yes, you are definitely selling a product or service, but ultimately, as the face of the business, the owner of this business, you're pretty much selling yourself, your value systems, your ideas, your creations. So when you feel like you need to add to yourself, the underlying belief is that I'm not enough. And then even with the working harder, it is a block because what's indicated here is you need to be taking some kind of action. You're going to try, you may fail, but then that's the real valuable information to be collected. What happened when I tried this thing, when I tried this particular type of ad, when I tried to go after this new target audience? That's the goal. That's the goal right there. So when you're kind of spinning your wheels, collecting information and trying to work harder, in these areas not really yielding what you're looking for, it's because you feel like you're not enough and you may be avoiding taking the real action that's going to lead to profit.
And I would like to lend to this because I've had many entrepreneurs share with me that they prayed. They asked other people to pray. They've been begging God to bring certain opportunities, to allow them to get certain things done. And when the opportunity presented itself, they were all like, no, that can't be. That's not right. It's not true. It's a scam. I need to further investigate this. Let me call 10, 12, 15 people. Like, that's when you know that you are definitely self-sabotaging and you're definitely a procrastinator, and maybe what you say that you desire is not a truth. Maybe you really don't desire this thing, because it's like the story where the pastor was sinking. God help me. What did he sent the man in the raft. He sent the ship. He said, oh, no, I'm waiting on God. You see what I'm saying? It's the same scenario here. So I think that is very, very important for the secured entrepreneurs to recognize how they are sabotaging themselves by avoiding taking action. It's beyond a fear of success. It's beyond a fear of failure. It is exactly what you're saying, that an individual does not feel worthy and they don't feel like they are enough. And a lot of people feel like, I need the alphabet soup behind my name before people start listening to me. Well, we know that that is not true. We know that people are buying into people that they can relate to, people that they actually feel like they know. People that, and it's not even trust, because people say, oh, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. That's not really true. If I like your personality, there's something that resonates with me, I can relate to your story. Okay. You're likable because there's something, I see something in you that is me. And what I'm doing is taking a chance. Okay. I'm taking a risk. Doesn't mean that I trust the person. Okay. Anytime people go into the Target, the supermarket, you pick up the fruits and the vegetables, you're taking a risk. You don't know if that stuff is poisoned. You don't know what they sprayed on it. Okay, now we're gonna bring the heat here. You know what I'm saying? You really, have you really thought about that, Peggy? Have you really thought about how people are truly sabotaging themselves? They're quick to go and pick up something here and there and just believe that it works. I'm not going to get sick from it. I'm going to be okay. All right. That this is all risk taking. So now why don't you apply that same stuff to yourself? Self-sabotage. Go on, Shiny Peggy.
Yes. Now, ask yourself this question. Are you aware of the blocks keeping you from more money? When you're not progressing, things are not really happening in the business the way you want them to happen, that's the time to examine what blocks are in the way and then address those blocks. That's a tough pill to swallow, because it is very uncomfortable to look at those blocks. It is very uncomfortable to look at what may be perceived as a weakness, because the blocks come from somewhere. It's some type of insult, some type of trauma that's happened to where there's a part of you that will not allow the greater part of yourself to really progress and go there and have that life that you dream of. So in looking at those blocks, if you can, amazing. The very perfect first place to start. But if you are like many people who continue to spin their wheels, what you can do is invest in yourself in that way. It's an investment to hire a coach. It's an investment to buy the courses. It's an investment to buy the books. And it's an investment of your time and energy watching other people succeed and trying to figure out how it is that they're doing what they're doing. They're not you. You are not them. Invest in yourself with energy work, someone who can help you uncover what those blocks are and then release them. And then number 3, do you secretly believe that you can't change or that change is too hard?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Yeah. So, what I've noticed is there's a new breed. There's new breeds of humans out there. Young people don't necessarily have the same kind of hangups when it comes to getting money that older people have, okay? So if you are a more mature person, mature might be 30, but if you're a more mature person, maybe you have a lot more life experience or experience that you're bringing to the table when you say, I'm going to start my own business, there may be something, a little voice in the back saying, who do you think you are? You've been a particular way for so long. You can't change. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So It's very real. It's very real. And it's very understandable because also what's at work is the desire to keep yourself safe. The change, consciously, unconsciously, actually represents some degree of danger because it is
Mm.
going off into the unknown. So believing that you can't change or that change is hard is part of a belief system that's built on past experiences. Maybe you've tried and failed, and you may say to yourself, the reason I failed is because I can't do any better. I can't do something different. It's built on what society is telling us. Society often says, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Society often says, we have a lane, you have a destiny. You have a destiny. You were put here to do a particular thing. And it's not that you were put here to do a particular thing necessarily in the way that society would have you to believe, but society is invested in you doing something to service them.
Right.
Okay. So as far as not changing, there's outside forces that actually don't want you to change. And then you then buy into that.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads into the mass consciousness, which is just, we all have access to the field, the energetic field of information that's out there. It is storming right now. How about
Yeah,
that?
I heard it.
Yeah, we have access to the information in the field. So we're all kind of connected. We're all connected to each other. When they say we are one, truly we are one.
Correct.
So because so many people have that sheep mentality is what I'm going to say. The sheep mentality that would have you to believe that you're not going to change. You can't change. Change is too hard. Just stick to what you know. All of this stuff. There's a part of you that buys into it. So that energy is actually part of your system. But again, it's just a block that can be uncovered and can be released.
So now we're about to get into the unconscious blocks. The unconscious blocks, the blocks that you may not even be aware of. Come on, Peggy.
Now, this is very fascinating. This to me is very fascinating because I am a student of human psychology. So secondary intentions. Secondary intentions could be blocking you because your primary intention is, I want to get out there and make, 6-7 figures this coming year. Or I want to get out there and really, if you're not money driven, I want to get out there and really help people with my service or good. That's my primary intention. But you may have a secondary intention around staying safe, around being invisible, because being invisible is what is safe to you. Or the secondary intention, again, around safety, because it boils down to safety and self-preservation. It could be, I want to be part of my tribe. I don't want to stand out. That's the secondary intention. And the secondary intention is so strong, that desire to be part of the group is so strong that it's going to get in the way of what you say it is that you actually want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you really sit with yourself, or better, sit with someone else, because we have blind spots. Again, it's about self-preservation. It's about what's easy and safe, and what's new oftentimes is considered to be unsafe or dangerous. So it is better to sit with someone else and have them help you uncover these things. But the secondary intentions are very powerful, depending, especially when you consider what created it, what were those experiences that really solidified how your mind actually operates. The secondary intentions can really be amazing at blocking you from creating more money.
And you don't even know it.
You would not know. No. It's like this software, or a lot of people talk about, a tape recorder playing ever so softly in the back of their mind, so that it's actually inaudible to the human ear. But they say that the subconscious mind misses nothing. You're driving down the street. There's so many bits of data always coming into your eyes and your ears, your nose, your skin, your sensory organs. You would go crazy if you focused on all the information actually coming in. So no, you're just focused on survival, what's pleasurable for you, the routine. So no, you would not be aware necessarily that this is what's at work.
Wow. Okay.
Number 2, in psychology, there is a parts to the personalities theory. And in a nutshell, you have your main personality part. And the main personality part is the one that says, I'm making 6, 7, 8 figures this year, or I'm quitting my job because I'm going to create this new business. That's your main personality. Then you have different parts of your personality, other methods called like a sub-personality. And the parts personality, those are just a culmination of you at different stages of your development. So there may be a part inside of you that got created when, you know, you're from a 2-parent household and dad lost his job. When dad lost his job, the whole world went to crap because maybe you had to move out of the house, go to a new school, all of these things. So that part of you, like if you were 7 years old, there's a 7-year-old version of you who remembers what it was like when all the money left the house. So there's that part of you that's unsure about the role of money in your life and whatever else that 7-year-old version may have created. So that part of you wants to protect the main personality, it wants to control, but basically it's just a part of you that is not really up to speed because of some early traumas. We're going to use the word traumas because of some early traumas that took place. So that part is just stuck in that time and it's not on board with what it is that you say you want to do now. And again, the role of that part is to just protect you because what you're trying to do now is unsafe. Belief systems. And the belief systems can have to do with who do I believe that I am, the belief systems about how other people in the world behave, just whatever it is that you believe that's in contradiction to what you say that you want to be creating. If you have the belief making money is hard, or I can't change, well, that belief system is not very useful when it comes to creating a business and selling your goods and services. Another covert thing that may be at work is in alignment with your desires. So what I have here is, I believe I deserve a particular thing. I can commit to all the things that have to take place when I am going off on this adventure. I trust myself. I trust the people I do business with. I will. So the alignment with your desires. You say you want one thing, but your actual desire is a totally different energy. So when those two are it's like two ships missing each other in the night. So if you don't have that alignment, it's not going to work out for you. Or you may see, it works out for a little bit, but it's just a disaster. Definitions. These are the rules about life that a client may have. And we talked about, I can't make money doing what I love is very common for people who are more heart-centered. The block could be that they really do believe that they have a love of, they want to create a business around gardening. They want to create a business around singing or whatever the case may be. Insects, But what we see is that out in the world, people are making substantial amounts of money doing some of everything. And the reason they're able to do this thing that you cannot is because you have a rule about how life works. Another one is very common is, I had to be born into the right family to be successful. What is the right family? What does that mean? What does that mean? But people's minds will begin to create. You'll create something to make it so it's okay for them, but I can't do it. And again, these are unconscious or subconscious blocks that are at work, and more than likely, you would not even realize that this is what's at play. So these are just some examples. There are many, many more, but I brought out what I think are going to be some of the more common ones and ones that are very easily recognizable.
All right. So now let's get into how it is we're going to move past the blocks that we are fully aware of and the blocks that we're not really aware of. We're not really paying too much attention to. We're not really aware of how much society is shaping these thought processes. We're not really aware of how our family environment, the things we watched on television, the people that we've met along the way, the people we went to elementary school with, high school with, college with, and how it is that, isn't it funny how you learned one thing at home, and then when you went off to college or to your first job, you were surrounded by other people who had other beliefs and other ways of living, and you tested out a little bit of that, and all of these experiences have shaped what you really think about yourself, your environment, and your capabilities. So how is it that Shiny Peggy is helping the entrepreneur to recode, to reprogram, and to create the transformation needed to now reattach themselves to the unlimited universe, to bring about not only the money, but the love, the good health, the happiness, you know what I'm saying, that everybody is really desiring?
Yeah, that made me think of something is when we say that we want something, we want to create something, the thing, the business, the money, the relationships, it's a symbol for what you think is going to give you. So it could be that in creating this business, creating, this money, what you're actually looking for is the feeling of security. What you're actually looking for is a feeling of love. That I don't know. That's just what I think of. Anyway, so the recoding. I'm very excited to be practicing this particular modality that has a couple of names. It's called recoding, and it's also called the superconscious transformational method. And this particular modality, it really leans into spirituality. I am all about the energy. I'm all about the spirituality. I'm all about that connection with that divine. What I will say is, you don't necessarily need to be that type of person, because even if you come with some skepticism, what you will find is you're still able to reap the benefits of what this modality has to offer. So what is it? This process teaches the individual to connect to a part of themselves called the superconscious. It's an aspect of the mind that has access to all memories and can neutralize negative emotions, beliefs, and memories. That's a mouthful. So when we talk about the superconscious, some people may know that to be the field of energy, the field, what I wanted to say was, sometimes you have psychics who are able to pluck information out. They're able to know things, and they say, I got that from the field. Well, what is the field? It's not really magic. It's actually not really magic, because we all are connected to the field. Whatever information lies within the field, you have access to it. So that when people say, I'm not creative or I can't do that, because it's being done, because people are having similar thoughts, that means you too have access to all the thoughts that have ever been thought, all the skills that can be learned. Like, we're capable of everything because you're capable of connecting to that energy field. So during the process, you give permission to your superconscious to neutralize the emotions, beliefs, memories, while keeping the wisdom and the gifts of those memories. And it's really a beautiful process that invites vulnerability, that invites truth. If you are the kind of person who actually wants to get to the bottom of what is holding you back, this process is more than amazing, because again, what you're doing is you are allowing yourself to bypass whatever restrictions your mind is placing on you and your progress. And you're going outside of that into the field of energy, the field that holds all of the information pertaining to everything that's ever happened in your life, all of the ancestral stuff that we bring to all of our actions and interactions, all of the information, so that when you are in the process, and it's a very healing process, Whatever needs to come forward is what's going to come forward. And then when we talk about neutralizing, the things that would have happened, those blocks, because I like to refer to those blocks as traumas, as different kinds of insults. When you begin to ponder on all of those things that have happened to you, the people that you know, people in your family, other people of your ethnicity, whatever the case may be, whenever you do begin to ponder on those events and the memories and the beliefs, the emotions, there's a charge to it. There's a negative charge to it. And the charge can feel like anger. It can feel like sadness. It can feel like whatever the case may be. What's happening with this treatment is the energy of those so-called negative experiences is being neutralized so that the thing still happened. Whatever the thing is, the thing still happened, but you no longer have that energy around it. And it's really the energy that's creating the block. So allowing your superconscious to heal it, to neutralize it, to remove that charge, you still have the memories. Yeah, this thing happened. Now I know how to deal with this particular kind of person. Now I know how to go into this type of deal. Whatever the case may be, the information is still there. And what makes this, a couple of things make this especially wonderful. One of them being it's a gentle process. What's going to happen is whatever needs to be revealed at that time is going to be revealed to you. That's what's going to be neutralized. And another thing that's really fascinating because it's encompassing all the information, everything. There are people, I'm one of them, and I've worked with clients like this. There are people who are resistant to even speaking the things that they really believe. They're resistant to speaking what actually happened to them. Okay. So one of the amazing things about this process is we don't need the story. And there are a lot of practices that talk about the story. For this, we don't need the story. What we really need is the energy. So if you can come and say, I feel confused, I feel angry, I feel sad. If you just come with that and allow those emotions to be there, that's what's going to be neutralized. So we don't need the story. And there are a lot of styles of coaching, styles of healing that they want the story. They want the story. But for this, we don't need the story. We don't need the story.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What we want to now move into is allowing Shiny Peggy to give us a brief demonstration of what a client would go through during a session of recoding. And what I want to add to this is, and many of the security entrepreneurs know that I work with a lot of female entrepreneurs who, this, when you say you don't need the story, this is what triggered this thought just now, because a lot of women will start something. We've seen them. They do beautiful programs and they market themselves lovely and they draw a large crowd and it's just their name. They are the face, they are the brand. Then here comes this man. Now the man, you know, he may or may not be successful. Okay. For the most part, if she's the woman with the money and the clout and all that, he doesn't really come with all of that. But now she's gotten lonely along the way. She want to lay up with somebody. Now, instead of keeping that private, he's all up in the mix. He's all up in the business. Now there's a lot of changes, you know, and then when that goes away, now she's there to to pick up the pieces. She's in a bundle of confusion. She doesn't really know what to do. And then you see her here and there. It's like so hard to really start life over. Okay. But there's a reason why she allowed that to happen. And then the flip side of that, same scenario. The woman is very, very successful. She meets a man. He might be more successful or he's successful in his own right. She then says, I want to start giving up the business. I don't really want to work as hard as I was working, you know. I'm going to give it all up and I'm going to be in love with this man. I'm going to be married to this man. And then, you find out, well, he's a womanizer, and this is not going to work. Now I'm divorced. Now we see the name change. Now it's no longer dot hyphen dot. It's going to go back to dot, right? But now now she's got to rebuild herself. She's got to pull her people back in, and now she's got to share with her followers what happened and acknowledge that the real situation was, I really didn't want the business the way I was doing the business. I was doing it because I was really in survival mode. I was really in a place where if I didn't take care of myself financially, nobody else was going to do it. And then when so-called Mr. Right came along, I thought that he was going to be the one to do it. And now here I am again. Now, how do you think the follower feels? Okay, how genuine is this? How genuine should I continue to go along with your protocol and your program? Because there's a chance that when another man come along, you're going to disappear again and you're going to start doing this flim flam. So the reason why that came to me is because there's some sort of a block there for both men and women, where you're doing something because you feel like you need to do it, not really because you want to do it. Because when your help comes along, that's when the true self jumps out, like, oh, now I could take a deep breath, I could rest, I could do something else, because this is not, you know what I'm saying? So this modality is really addressing, like you're saying, you're getting down to the root, the truth behind why you're making the decisions that you're making, why you're making the choices that you're making that lead you to where you are, that you do not want to be. So we're going to allow Shiny Peggy to give us a brief introduction to what recoding is like.
What to expect when you participate in a recoding session. Again, it's very easy, very peaceful, and potentially emotional, but the healing is done very gently. So what I'm going to do is ask you first, what is it that you want? What is it that you'd like to create that you've never created before? And it may be something around a particular kind of business. And what we do is I would kind of lead you in a direction to where when I'm asking you what it is that you're wanting, I'm asking you for that end result. What is it that you ultimately want to feel, and why do you want to feel these things? And to give you a description, a further description of how the method is working, what I would say is the superconscious will come in and kind of smooth your way to help you make it towards that goal. And if you are a visual person, I would say imagine that you are, on a raft and you're going down a stream, and maybe there's some driftwood there. There may be some rocks. There may be some pebbles there. The energy of that superconscious is going to come in and just kind of smooth everything out so that you're able to make it down that waterway in the most smooth, elegant manner possible. So that's a little bit of the education as to what's happening with your mind, with your subconscious and conscious minds, with your memories. That's what's actually happening. So what I'm going to do is ask you some unpacking questions. And the purpose of the unpacking questions is to really get to the bottom of what the beliefs actually are. And there is a methodology to the sequence and the kinds of questions that are asked. And the reason it's done that way is because if I were to come out and ask you, why do you think your business is not successful? Or why do you believe you're not making as much money as you want to make? Most people are not going to jump out the window and say, I don't deserve to make them. I don't deserve the money, or I don't believe I can do it. So what's happening is I'm asking you different questions to, layers of an onion, to begin to peel back the different layers of the onion so that we can really get to the core of what's happening. And what is experienced by people who are on the receiving end of this is, as you continue to answer different questions, you're going to naturally feel the resistance rise up in you. And that's actually what we want. There's a saying that you have to feel it to heal it. So you're bringing things forward by answering these questions. And once you're able to feel it and just, for a brief moment, allow it to be there, that's when we go into the superconscious, inviting the superconscious into the session now to begin to do its work. So I say something to the effect of, do you give me permission to connect to your superconscious? And then you say yay or nay. And what's happening on this end is I'm using intuition, muscle testing, a variety of things to then begin to connect to the superconscious myself, and then begin to look at, well, what are the different barriers that may be there that's preventing the person from having the most advantageous experience in this process? Because again, our minds are so complicated. Even the subconscious that includes the different parts of the personality, your main personality may come forward and say, yes, Peggy, I want to do this. I'm ready to break through these blocks. I'm ready to go. But over in the corner somewhere, there may be a part of your personality that's protecting you from whatever it feels that needs to be protected. There may be a little part of you that's kind of resistant. So then I would use, my skills to kind of tap in and see what may be in the way. And then when we integrate all the different parts, the superconscious has full reign to begin to kind of unearth and then neutralize whatever is presented. And you on the receiving end, you can experience a number of things. What's most common is for people to begin to have memories of different events that may be directly related to business or not. But whatever the event, the memory is, it's somehow contributing to what's blocking you. So you may find that different memories come to the forefront. A lot of people have, if you're very sensitive to energy, you may have different sensations, on the outside or even on the inside of your body. There are some people who are more visual who may begin to see things. But again, what I'm encouraging you to do during this process is to simply relax, because your role is to simply allow whatever comes forward to be there, relax, breathe, and notice. Notice what comes up for you. Because even if in that moment, it doesn't seem like it's pertinent, it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with what's happening, it's being brought to your attention for a particular reason. So we do 2 or 3 rounds. And as the rounds where the superconscious is coming in and smoothing everything over, what's happening is the resistance is decreasing, sometimes substantially, sometimes, incrementally. But like I say, we do 2 rounds, 3 rounds. And then again, I check in with the superconscious and see, is the amount of resistance that's been released, is it enough for the day? And I may even ask you, because again, it's for some people, it can be very emotional. It does stir up a lot of energy that's moved and released. So I may check in with you and say, do you feel like we're complete? Do you feel like we're complete? So at the end, we close everything out, and then we do a review of what it is that you did experience physically, emotionally, intellectually. We just do a review of what came up for you. And I may say something like, I would invite you really to come with a notepad and a pen to kind of take notes, because the information, again, that's brought forward is very useful in helping you to identify and just integrate what it is that came up, what the blocks were, and how you feel now that the blocks have been released. And something that must be said about this particular modality is it is very gentle, and the healing happens in layers. Some people may have a tremendous shift, and I've seen it where people have just tremendous shifts and they feel like they're ready to take on the world. And for other people who have deeper rooted stuff, it could be that for your highest good, what came forward in that particular session was just enough for you. So, it's a case by case basis. Everyone is different, but overall in the end, people are able to really experience the release. You're able to experience the release. After you've experienced that release, your energy has shifted. You've let go of some stuff that's in your way. So your energetic self has indeed shifted. And because I also work as a coach, that's when we can get into what you're going to do next, the action. You're coming with a new energy now, and your mindset is different. So that's where I ask you a question of, what is the next obvious step that you can take towards your goal? What is the next obvious step that you can take to meet those money goals? And again, because things have indeed shifted energetically via mind shifts, you have new insights as a result of this process, so that you are in a very receptive state to see the next step. Where you were blocked before, the clouds have been cleared. So there's something that's going to come to you that is your next step.
OM to the G. We want to thank Shiny Peggy for that beautiful demonstration. And you all know that Miss Aurorah can attest to the strength of this modality, because I have gone through it. And I can clearly tell you that the memories that come up that will cause you to now really know why it is you've done some things that you've done in your life, okay, that had to do with things that actually happened to you when you were a young child. When I recall telling you, Peggy, that, oh my God, I had memories of when I lived, you know, back in the South Bronx and in my first house with my parents, and things that happened that I hadn't thought about, like in all my adult life, like where did this come from? But it was the answer to why I was moving in certain ways, and why I was thinking certain things, and why I was stopping myself from getting some of the things that I said I wanted, like in this particular quarter. Like, why is it that I'm not moving in that direction? And I even noticed something. I have one of my financial coaches is coming to town, and I wasn't really sure why she was coming to town. I just found out her assistant called me and said, "Are you coming to Millionaire School?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know we was having Millionaire School." She said, "Yes, it's Saturday at the Virgin Hotel." And I was like, "The Virgin Hotel? Like what?" So I looked, I said, "Oh, it's what's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Richard Branson. I believe that's his hotel." I didn't even, I was like, oh, the Millionaire School, you know, like,
Sounds good, yeah.
So so in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want the coach to start asking me all kind of questions. You know, I'm thinking to myself, I don't want her to start asking me, okay, well, you know, what's going on this quarter? What do you have planned? Because I'm thinking, am I ready? Am I going to say the right thing? You know, it went back to, am I enough? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is my coach, you know, and oh my God, like Saturday? No, I'm like, oh man, this is really quite, you know, oh my God. So I immediately thought back to our session, and the answer was already there as to why I would have that reaction, like that immediate. But what was funny was I immediately told her assistant, "Oh yes, yes, I'll be there." She said, "Well, I'm gonna send you the link to pay, and you go ahead and get that done. And then when you pay, you send me the screenshot, and I'm gonna be waiting for you." I'm like, "Oh God!" Like, but it had to do with things that happened to me in the past, to the point where, why am I allowing that to affect me today? I had to really say to myself, why am I allowing that to affect me right now in this moment? In this moment, I'm not back there. I'm not 5 years old. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I want all of the secured entrepreneurs to really know how this modality is going to bring you out and over to the other side, so that you can make new decisions that are actually lucrative, okay, and actually are getting you getting you closer to where you're trying to go. The next video in this series, which is the breakthrough to success, okay, we're going to now get into self-perception, just exactly the example that I just gave you that happened to me 2 hours ago. Okay. Self-perception and the fears, which are very real for many of us, okay? The fears around how you perceive yourself, and the fears that they're so deep that other people can feel it. When you step into the room, did you light it up because you were so positive, happy, ready to deliver, or did you light it up because your energy was so low? Because your countenance was telling a story before you really got to meet and greet. Your countenance stepped in before you. You know what I'm saying? So that is what we're going to be discussing in the next video. So Miss Aurorah wants you all to comment below and let me and Miss Peggy know how you're feeling about the breakthrough to success. Also comment below and let us know what it is that you would like for Peggy to address as it relates to what it is that you're going through in your state of knowing that you are being blocked from the success that you truly desire to have. All right. So you can find Miss Peggy at here on YouTube at Say Yes to You. She is Say Yes to You at Coach. Say Yes to You with Coach Peggy Lynn.
Yes, on Facebook, and Say Yes to You _now on Instagram.
I love it. Okay. And you all know that you can find me, Miss Aurorah Dey, at AurorahDayConsulting.com. And until next time, ta-ta.